ESPN says an Illini is one of the 25 best players in all of college football, and one of the top high school basketball players in the world is going to be visiting Champaign. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Illini, your daily podcast on the Illinois Fighting Illini. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome one, welcome all to another edition of Locked On Illini. Thank you all so much for making us your first listen each and every day. Special shout out to the Talk Illini Discord. Appreciate that community. If you want to join us, find the link in the description. My name is Sonny Verma, your host here at Locked On, where I continue to provide you coverage daily. That's right, every single day. The only thing I ask for in return is if you can smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and also send it to any other Illini fans in your life who also might be interested in Illini athletics. Look, we're starting football a week from today. Well, a week, depending on when you're watching this. So football is right around the corner. Basketball seemingly every week has a new top recruit scheduling a visit in Champaign. There's a lot going on, and you're not going to miss anything right here on Locked On Illini. I figured today we're going to continue our position group review, and I wanted to give special attention to the linebacker room at this point, just because we've broken down with the quarterbacks, defensive line, tight ends, and the linebacker room is arguably one of the more proven rooms that the Illini are going to have this season. And if you're going to make a list of reasons to feel good about this Illinois defense, let's be honest, you don't have to look much further than number 17, Gabe Jacas. ESPN released a list of the top 100 college football players for this upcoming season, and they ranked Gabe as the 22nd best player in the entire country. I'm not saying the Big Ten. I'm talking the entire country, all of college football. That should tell you everything about the kind of star that Illinois has anchoring this unit. Let's just start the focus with Gabe, because he's not only the leader of this linebackers corps, he's the face of Bret Bielema's defense, period. At 6'3", 270 pounds, Jacas has the frame of a classic edge rusher, but he slimmed down just a bit this offseason, dropping about 5 pounds in order to increase speed, and coaches clocked him in at a blazing 20 miles per hour during camp. That's terrifying when you think about an athlete of his size bearing down on Big Ten quarterbacks. His 2024 stat line tells the story. You're talking about 74 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, 8 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 3 pass breakups. And the best part? Consistency. He also shows up in the biggest moments. Look no further than that massive win over the Michigan Wolverines, at the time, the defending champion Wolverines, when he piled up 13 tackles and 2.5 sacks. That's a star player rising to the big stage. What makes Gabe special isn't just athleticism, it's his technique. He uses his hands like a wrestler, which makes sense given his background, and that allows him to shed blocks, set the edge, and win with both power and finesse. Whether it's a bull rush, a swim move, or a club in and rip, he's got the full arsenal. That's why ESPN, and quite honestly, every draft scout in the country has him on their radar. But maybe what makes Jacas the most unique is his leadership. He could have gone to the NFL last year. He could have transferred and gotten significantly more NIL money. By the way, not just this past year, but even in years prior, there's plenty of SEC teams that were calling him, wanting him to go down south. And instead, he said, I wouldn't transfer anything. These are his words, by the way. No money, no NIL. How rare is that today? And it's exactly why he is, arguably, I would say he is the heartbeat of this program. He trusts Bret's development. He trusts his coaches, and he's bought into building something here at Illinois. Again, he's had all the reasons in the world to leave. That's the type of loyalty and presence that changes a locker room. And that's why people now are speaking so highly of Bret Bielema and what he's got going on at Illinois. It's because of the classic example that Gabe provides. You can't put a stat on that, but it might be one of the more important things that Gabe brings. Of course, football isn't a one-man show, so who's going to be lining up alongside Jacas? Let's start with Alec Bryant. Really solid rotational pass rusher last season. 13 quarterback pressures, and now he's going to be stepping up into a bigger role. He's got the burst, he's got the experience, and if he can complement Gabe, he gives Illinois two legitimate threats. That's how you win the Big Ten Conference. Leon Lowry is another name to watch. He's battled injuries, but when healthy, he's got the length and athleticism to give an offensive team struggles. Sure, it didn't work out for him at Wisconsin, which is where he is at, but who knows? Maybe Bret sees something that he can fix, and Leon can get into the rotation here in Champaign. And then you've got Daniel Brown, a younger guy who's likely to carve a role in sub packages. This is where Bielema's depth strategy really shows up. Illinois isn't just rolling out one star and a bunch of question marks. They've got a rotation that looks like they can absolutely trust. Now, we can't forget about the inside linebackers because they are kind of the engine of this defense against the run. Dylan Rosiak, he's back. He's the definition of the rock in the middle. Sure tackler, physical presence, and one of the vocal leaders. When the teams try to run between the tackles, he's the guy plugging the gaps and cleaning things up. JoJo Hayden is another versatile piece. He's been practicing at both inside and outside spots. And again, that flexibility gives Illinois schematic creativity. They can throw Hayden on the field in passing downs and not feel like they're losing anything in coverage. And when you talk about the linebackers room, it fits perfectly into what Bielema and position coach Trent Harris want to do. They emphasize cross-training, teaching guys multiple positions inside and outside so the staff can mix and match depending on the opponent. Facing Iowa, you'll see heavier packages. Facing Purdue, they'll unleash more speed and sub packages. That adaptability is a huge asset. And let's not forget, Illinois had 32 sacks as a team last season, and a quarter of those came from Jacas himself. But the ability to rotate guys like Bryant, Lowry, Rosiak, and Hayden keeps everyone fresh, especially in those grinded out Big Ten games. As for the bigger picture, linebacker play has been a strength of Bret Bielema's programs all along the way, way back to Wisconsin, through Arkansas, and now he's brought that to Champaign. It's kind of becoming one of his identity. And this year should be no different, except this year we have a lot of depth, and it's not just one guy carrying the load. Illinois legitimately has 4-5 linebackers that they can put on the field without a significant drop-off. That wasn't the case just a couple seasons ago. So overall, what's the outlook for this group? Well, as I mentioned, Gabe Jacas is an all-American caliber player. Ranked number 22 by ESPN. Trust me, he can go higher than that. He can end up top 15, top 10 if he has the season that Illinois coaches think he can have. He's on the Nagurski and Lott Trophy watch list, and if he stays healthy, of course, that's the key for everyone, he's got first-round NFL draft potential. Around him, Bryant, Rosiak, and Hayden bring experience and toughness while younger guys are developing down in the pipeline. Coach Harris summed it up best. His words, "This should be a very, very good group. This needs to be a strength of the team." And I think, quite honestly, it will be. Illinois has the star in Gabe Jacas. They've got glue guys around him, and they've got the versatility to handle whatever the Big Ten throws at them. If the defense takes a step forward this year, the linebackers are going to be a huge reason why. And again, I laugh almost saying this because those of you who have been with me since day one on Locked On Illini, you know at the beginning half of last season, I was not very happy with the linebacker play. I said it was one of the worst rooms in the Big Ten Conference, and oh boy, I was wrong. In particular, by the end of the season, I was clearly wrong. And quite honestly, that won't be the last time I say something that ends up being incorrect. But here I am, a few months later, talking about how the linebackers room might be one of the rooms that you're just least worried about. Not only do you have the star player, but you have the role players around him. And again, depth. There's a lot of depth in that linebackers room. And that linebackers room could be one of the key reasons that Illinois is able to reach the lofty expectations that a lot of people have put on them. And quite honestly, Gabe Jacas could very well be the best player on this team. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Ready. Rougiette Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rougiette's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked, Rougiette might have the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch. And you can even read the real customer reviews right on their site. It's helping a lot of people feel more confident and present in the moment. Head on over to Rougiette.com/Locked On College and use code Locked On College to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/Locked On College and use promo code Locked On College for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rougiette website for full safety information. And welcome back to Locked On Illini basketball recruiting, or at least that's what it feels like it's been over the last couple of weeks, as we've had a couple commitments a couple weeks ago, and now we've had more and more of the top players in the country all decide that, hey, we're going to put Illini in the top X lists that they have, and some are even scheduling visits to Champaign. And the latest guy might be one of the best of the bunch, and his name's Jesiah Jervis, a name you're going to want to keep in mind. He's one of the top high school basketball prospects in the entire country, and yeah, this is the type of player Illini fans have been clamoring for when it comes to this next recruiting cycle. I'm going to break down who he is, what kind of player we're talking about, and what his official visit to Champaign is going to mean. And Brad Underwood and this Illinois program are positioning themselves in what has become a pretty crowded and star-studded race for his services. So buckle up. We're going to talk about this 6'5" New York guard with big-time game and even bigger upside. So let's set the table. Jervis is a 6'5" guard out of Archbishop Stepinac in New York, a school with rich basketball pedigree. And if you follow East Coast hoops, you know Stepinac. They produce D1 talent for years. He runs on the Nike EYBL circuit with NY Rens. And you follow grassroots hoops, you know how loaded that program is. The Rens have had lottery picks come through, high major starters, and guys were household names now in college basketball. So in order to stand out on those rosters, that says something about what kind of player you have to be. And that's the thing. Jervis isn't just good. He's the type of talent that I genuinely think can be one of the leading players in any sort of class. He's not a fringe high major guy. Nationally, he's in that consensus top 75 with some services. I believe it was on 3 that had him all the way up at number 23 in his class. ESPN has him in the top 50, but regardless, wherever you look, the consensus is clear. Jervis is a blue chip player. He's coming off a monster summer. He tore up Peach Jam. He led Stepinac to a 3rd consecutive league title, and he earned offers left and right. And here's what matters for us. Illinois has officially made his final 8. So who else is in the mix? Michigan State, NC State, Texas, Florida, Pitt, Oregon, Tennessee, and yes, Illinois. Now this is a list of who's who. That tells you how national his recruitment is. But the Illini are in the hunt, and it seems like Jervis's interest is real. So what makes Jesiah Jervis special? Once again, we'll start on the offensive end. Now, stop me if you've heard this or at least heard me say this before, Jervis is a 3-level scorer. Now, I'm not just repeating myself. I'm telling you, I keep saying this because it seems that's what Brad Underwood wants to recruit. That's the type of skill trait that he's looking for in his players in these future recruiting cycles. Again, as common as it seems for the Illini to be looking for that, it's actually a pretty rare trait to find in high school. And that's what kind of makes Jervis so appealing at this next level. From deep, he's got the modern guard skill set. He knocks down the threes with confidence, and he isn't just afraid to pull up the dribble in the release. It's quick. It's smooth. Scouts rave about his range, and at Peach Jam, he dropped 28 points and hit 6 threes in the quarterfinal game. Those are the kind of performances that get noticed, and it changes the entire geometry of the defense. Opponents have to guard him the second he crosses half court. Off the bounce, he's explosive when he attacks closeouts. He doesn't mess around with unnecessary dribbles. He's efficient, and he goes straight to the rim. That makes him lethal in the transition game as well as in half-court sets. And when we talk about his mid-range, you can tell that Jervis has studied the pros. Guys like Devin Booker, SGA, Jason Tatum. You can see it in how he tries to create space in the jumpers, off screen, little step backs, fadeaways. It doesn't matter. He's comfortable. He's a student of the game. As for around the rim, he's not afraid of length. He's not afraid of shot blockers. He's crafty. He uses his body well, and he finishes through contract. That's toughness that you can't teach. And here's the kicker. He's also developing as a playmaker. He's not out there just hunting shots. He can run a pick and roll. He can make the right reads and hit the roll man or kick to shooters. Versatility. That's what separates a scorer from being a complete guard. So let's flip it on over. Let's talk about defense for a second. And I think this is also where low-key Illini fans can be excited, because Jesiah Jervis, he takes pride in his defense. And this is according to every scouting report I read of his online. This is not lip service. After locking up an opposing star at the Springfield Hoop Hall Classic, he told reporters, "I always want to neutralize the opponent's top scorer." Think about that. You've got a top 50 kid who's not just about getting buckets, he's about getting stops. That's what you want. He picks up full court. He fights through screens. He uses his length to disrupt. And he's not just guarding the weakest guy to save energy. He wants the assignment. That screams Big Ten guard. And it's not just me hyping him. Yeah, I am. But his high school coach, Pat Mazzaroni, told Zag's blog, "Jesiah has had a tremendous spring. We will rely on him and a heavy senior class to lead us through a challenging schedule." Leadership, a guy who embraces pressure. The 3 straight titles at Stepanak, big moments at Peach Jam. Every time the stage gets bigger, Jervis rises to it. So now we come to the recruiting battle. We know his final 8. The buzz right now seems to be Michigan State and NC State as the leaders. And we know Izzo's track record with guards is pretty good. And NC State gives its guys freedom to play. So those are, of course, real draws for a player of Jesiah's skill set. But Illinois, they're not on the outside looking in. They've actually been pretty consistent, and they've not only built a relationship, they've emphasized the fit. Here's the key. Jervis has talked about wanting a family atmosphere where he can win and prepare for the NBA. That seems to be the pitch. Champaign has shown it can develop pros. Illinois has shown it can win big in the Big Ten. And culturally, Brad Underwood has built a locker room where right now they're focusing on toughness and they're trying to step up their defense, which could be music to an all-around player like Jervis. And Jervis made it very clear that he knows how fantastic the strength and conditioning program at Illinois is. Of course, I say it all the time. Fletch is a cheat code, and Fletch might help you win this recruitment. This visit is going to be huge. It's where Illinois has to roll out the red carpet, get him to a football game, let him feel the energy of the Orange Crush, let him picture himself at the State Farm Center with 15,000 fans chanting his name, show him the plan, show him the NIL opportunities, and show him a potential NBA path. And if they do that, Illinois, I think, can make it to the very end. Bottom line is, I know Illinois fans, for the most part, have been kind of lukewarm, not only with the commits that they've gotten so far for 2026, but also some of the guys that they have visiting. You guys are used to bigger names, guys higher up on the rankings. I think Jervis is one of those recruits that you guys seem to be yearning for. He certainly has the highest ceiling outside maybe Costanza that I've talked about recently on Locked On Illini. He's the kind of guy who could be a genuine foundational piece to a basketball team. I mean, you've got a 6'5" two-way guard, a 3-level scorer, a lockdown defender, a winner. And imagine him in Champaign, hitting threes, shutting down rival scorers, and bringing that New York edge to the Illini backcourt. This is the type of battle that Illinois has to start winning if they want to keep ascending nationally. And make no mistake, Jervis is a player who you can pretty much count on him to contribute right from the start. So, Illini Nation, Locked On Nation, I'll throw it to you. How big of a deal would it be for you to get a guy like Jervis locked in to that 2026 class? Would you make him your top priority when it comes to Illini recruits that they've been after? Certainly of the ones that I've been talking about over the past couple months on this show. And if you were in the room with Brad Underwood, I'm actually curious, what would your pitch be? Hit me in the comments. Join the conversation at Twitter. You can find me at TheSonofB or Locked On Illini or Talk Illini, and let's talk it up, because this recruitment is one that we're going to be following, I promise you, each step of the way. If you're running a business, every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you needed a service. If the first person didn't answer, did you wait? Probably not. You moved on. That's why you need Open Phone, so you never miss an opportunity to connect with your customers. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system designed to streamline and scale your customer communications. Do you juggle 2 phones just to keep business and personal calls separate? Open Phone solved that instantly. Your whole team can share one number and respond to customers like a shared inbox. No more who's handling this. See why over 60,000 businesses trust Open Phone. They're offering Locked On listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/lockedoncollege. That's openphone.com/lockedoncollege. They'll even port over your existing numbers for free. Open Phone. No missed calls, no missed customers. This episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason is already heating up, and college football is not too far behind. Whether you've got your eyes on big-name quarterbacks or breakout running backs, Prize Picks makes it easy to get in the game. For this weekend, Prize Picks is offering multiple max discounts, including Avery Johnson needing to just get 1 passing yard. That's right, just 1 passing yard against ISU. Prize Picks makes it simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 stat projections, and if you get your picks right, you could cash in and win 2,000 times your money. I've used Prize Picks for a few seasons now and love how simple it is. I can get a lineup in before my coffee finishes brewing. The flex play option is a total game changer. Even when one of your picks misses, you can still double your money. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks, run your game. And welcome back. All right, Locked On Illini Nation. There's something I want to make sure I continue to do more of here on Locked On Illini. And I just want to say, I know we all love football. We all love basketball. And trust me, we're going to cover those in depth every single week. But Illinois athletics is so much bigger than that, so much bigger than just those two sports. And I want to let you know that I'm going to put a particular emphasis on shining a light on other Illini athletes who are competing, winning, and representing the orange and blue across the board. So with that in mind, let's talk about Illinois soccer and what they just pulled off in their opening weekend. 2 matches, both on the road, and 2 shutouts. That's how you start a season. It began in Chicago against UIC, and it didn't take long for the Illini to put their stamp on things. In just the 3rd minute, Georgia transfer Kayla Jackson announced herself to Illini fans with her very first goal for the orange and blue. A perfectly timed pass from Sydney Stevens found Jackson at the top of the penalty area, and she buried it. That turned out to be the only goal of the match, but that didn't mean Illinois cruised. UIC came with pressure, especially in the 25th minute when they fired off what looked like a sure equalizer. But goalkeeper Izzy Lee was rock solid, making a game-saving stop. That would become the theme of the weekend. The Illini defense standing tall, Lee anchoring it with poise and confidence. Fast forward to the second match against Bowling Green. This one was a little bit more wide open with both teams trading chances. But once again, Illinois was the one to find a breakthrough. This time it was Sydney Stevens getting on the score sheet herself. She peeled away from her defender, got a smart feed from Ashlyn Adams, and then let it fly. The ball clipped the underside of the crossbar and found the back of the net. Pure class from Stevens. After that, the defense did their job again. Bowling Green pushed, but Izzy Lee and the back line were simply too good. Second match, second shutout, and the Illini start the season 2-0 with a lot of confidence. But here's the fun part. They get to now bring that momentum home. The home opener is set for Monday, August 25th at 6 p.m. at Demersion Park. It's not just any opponent, it's undefeated Boston College, which means we're getting a real early season measuring stick. And I'll tell you what, if you're in Champaign, try to get out there, support this team. These athletes are wearing the same Illinois across their chest as the football team, as the basketball teams, and they deserve the love too. So yeah, we're going to keep doing this. Football, basketball, absolutely, but also women's basketball, soccer, volleyball, track, you name it. If Illinois is playing, it matters here on Locked On Illini. And if there's another sport that you want me to cover, please let me know. I may host this show, but this show belongs to you guys as much as it does me. That's going to just about wrap it up for this edition of Locked On Illini. I thank you all so much again for making us your first listen. For your second listen, check out the Portal Show. Brian Smith has the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings. Be the most informed fan on the rapid changes to the college football landscape. Find the Portal on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Depending on when you're listening to this, on Friday, August 22nd, I'm going to be announcing the winner of 2 tickets to the Western Illinois season home opener. I'm going to be doing this every single week, giving out tickets to every home game this year. For week 1, all you have to do is join the Talk Illini Discord. The link should be in the description, and the instructions are there. It's quite easy. All you have to do is basically prove that you're subscribed to the channel. That's it. So, being in the Discord, not only do you get to talk to 300 plus Illini fans all across the country, but you have a chance to actually go watch the Illini football team in every home game in what hopefully it's going to be a historic season. On your way out, if you don't mind, please hit the like button and also send me an email at talkillini@gmail.com if you just want to say hello, if there's a certain topic you want me to cover, whatever it is. I always enjoy back and forth discourse with the community. Until next time, ILL. Love you guys.